Hi, this is Don Gooding from Greenlight Maine. Some of the best conversations among entrepreneurs and mentors happen when we're not recording for the Saturday night show. We thought you'd like to see them.
Seems like you're already doing such great things and you've already done great things that you could almost reinvent it with your new employees. If they started going to trade shows for you and just spreading the word, because it seems like you had a lot of success there, so they could communicate their story that way. And then also each person will have their own story, and I can see that being great for social media and taking video and telling their story and spreading it there too.
That's a great point.
Lucinda, I think, was going to ask about the second product, and somehow we didn't quite get to that.
Yeah.
So what is the second product?
So the second product that we're working on right now is taking recycled lobster rope, which is more durable than T-shirts. It's directly related to Maine, and it's still recycled, upcycled material.
Love that.
Cool. And how does that affect the manufacturing process?
It's just a matter of inputting at the first step, the raw material. Everything else remains the same. It actually removes 1 to 2 steps of the manufacturing process.
So I'm curious about where are you getting the T-shirts? I mean, I got the first story, and I'm thinking, okay, well, where is he getting these used T-shirts?
Well, that was the problem at first, because I was making so many of them. I'd hit up all my friends and family for T-shirts, and I had completely depleted their T-shirt. So I had a problem, obviously, because I had orders for wag rags and no raw material to make them. So I met with Goodwill. And at the time, they were gonna sign on our products into their stores, 27 of their New England stores, as part of their Neighbor Made collection. So as we were working through that, the proposition also came up to how to get T-shirts from them, because who better to supply T-shirts than Goodwill? So long story short, I now buy them in 25-pound increments directly from Goodwill.
Wow, part of the story. Love it.
And do you include that part of the story in your marketing?
Not specifically Goodwill. We just refer to them as used T-shirts, which, I mean, they ultimately are.
Yeah. Yes.
I just have one more thing that it would really be valuable, I think, is to understand your why to this question that you're asking. I mean, I don't have a clear understanding of why you need to, what's driving this idea that you need to manufacture in this way. I mean, have you got sales that are pushing you in that direction, or are you just trying to figure out how you would do it if that comes up?
Yep, so right now our sales are kind of depleted by the capacity that we can output with my grandparents and myself. So like an example I'll give you is, last time in my pitch I referenced BarkBox, and I've submitted my products to BarkBox. I've gone through the application process. I've talked to BarkBox. And what BarkBox is a monthly subscription box. And their minimum order is 10,000 units. And there's no way that our manufacturing currently can produce that.
Wow.
How many can you produce in an hour yourself?
7.
So you can get 50 a day if you did an 8-hour day, 60 a day.
Times 2 people.
Well, just take 10,000, divide that by 60, and that's how many people you need.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Over a lot of time, as well as probably an inventory issue, which then runs into funding issue.
Right.
So sometimes the big orders can actually kill a small business. So have you thought about whether that's actually something you want to do?
I mean, down the road, it's not something right off, because I have seen small businesses grow way too quickly, and it's normally catastrophic for them, and that's not something that I want to do. I've been growing wag rags very slowly, debt-free, over the last 4 to 5 years. But that's something that we'd have to visit, is the idea of where to store the inventory, how much inventory we would keep on hand so that we could fulfill those bigger orders.
Okay. So you were saying, Chris, that yes, Shannon has ties to Waterville.
Ties to Waterville, so Thomas College. And
Yeah, we love working with Thomas College and the students there, and the entrepreneurship program is really growing there, so it's really exciting to see things like this.
I was the president of the entrepreneurship club there.
Oh, awesome. That's great. It's so important.
And I think they're also working on some social media programs there as well. So that's actually an interesting idea for you. Do you have much social media marketing in your background?
No, not really, Don. But I mean, it's the way of the world now, and it's something that needs to be addressed.
Yes. Well, there are so many things as running a company, and you said, I think this is still a side business for you, right?
Yes.
So it may be that going to some of the students back at Thomas, you can do quid pro quo and get some help there. Yeah.
Or an intern. You could get
Or
an
an
actual
intern.
intern. We use interns from Thomas all the time, and they're fabulous.
Yes. So any additional thoughts here in terms of tying into social media? You were observing about the dogs and the stories, and trying to connect those dots is an interesting thing.
Yeah, I think hopefully you're doing this, but collecting customer information so that you have some way to reach out to them to ask, say, hey, I'd love to see a picture of your dog and their new toy. If you submit one, you get 10% off your next order or something like that, so that you can start keeping a library of those images and then share them on
I love
your
those
social
ideas.
media.
Yes.
And if you're looking for, say, employees out at dog parks or where dogs are being walked, and you have somebody that's actually working for you, making these, they could do some of that work for you and promote what they do, share that with the people that they're walking dogs with, take photos, ask them, do little interviews or whatever. You can really engage your employees in supporting that piece for your social media campaign.
And of course, doing the actual manufacturing in a dog park, I had got that visual when you mentioned it. Yeah.
If it
Absolutely.
meets your quality standards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then it's actually manufacturing as a kind of this social process. You could end up having everybody at the dog park, and it's like, oh, let's make one now. It's like, there go my profits,
Dog jumps up and chews one.
So will you be able to actually get, say this explodes, let's just go there. Can you actually get your raw materials?
Yes.
Still, even if you had to produce 100,000?
Yes.
You can, not a problem.
Yeah, it all comes out of their Gorham warehouse.
They have that much stuff.
When I went down, they gave me a tour of this place, and you need a map to get around this place.
Wow.
And what the shirts are, so there's a whole cycle that they go through, and I won't go specifically into it because I don't want to mess it up. But the shirts need to go through. They get about 10 opportunities to be sold, and if they're not sold, then they wind up back at the warehouse, and that's when they take them and they sell them in bulk.
by the pound.
Yeah,
Weird question.
absolutely.
Do they like wash these shirts and stuff?
We do.
You do.
We wash them all and we inspect all of
So I
them.
was wondering, like the dogs, they're probably like smelling other people.
No, we wash them all and then we inspect them all for
Yeah.
like stains or
Yeah.
excessive wear. If there's any like screen printing designs or embroidery, that would be like a smaller thread. So they're all inspected and washed before they even go into manufacturing.
Such an interesting, creative way to be doing the business here.
I can see a great story from, I'm picturing in my head that warehouse of t-shirts and doing a video of you looking at the t-shirts, then going through the process of creating, then a dog with the toy. I can see that being a really great video to tell your story quickly.
The whole timeline
Yeah.
of manufacturing. I like that.
Yeah, and if you can really drill home that you're in Maine in all of these processes, or sometimes they're in Florida, but telling the Maine story throughout that and weaving it in is important too.
And incorporating a dog in it.
Oh yeah, everybody loves
Of
dogs.
course, absolutely. So you're doing social media at Days Jewelers?
I'm the marketing director, so I'm responsible for all advertising and marketing.
All of it, yes.
Social media is a huge part of our marketing plan, but we do everything.
You guys just opened up in Augusta, right?
Yes, yep, our brand new store.
I went in like the day after they opened and bought some earrings for my girlfriend.
Yay!
Oh.
Beautiful,
I won't-
beautiful store.
Are these things off?
No worries. No worries.
So, the reason I like Days is because when you go in, they give you beer.
Yeah, they do.
Whoever, I don't know if that was your marketing idea or what, but
And we're dog friendly. We have tennis
I did
balls
not know that.
and water bowls. Yeah, dogs can come into our stores.
that's interesting.
And why it triggered for social media for you too is like that is some of our most popular posts on Facebook organically are the ones of dogs coming into our stores with a little Days tennis ball, and we take a picture, put it on Facebook, and people, it's just, it brightens everybody's day.
Oh,
Yeah.
very interesting. Any other additional thoughts on the Waterville side? I know you're connected to lots of resources there. Any in particular that Chris maybe should be connecting with?
Well, I think just Thomas College is an amazing connection. So I would say go back there as an alum, like go back and see what they can help with. And I also think of Waterville because it is one of those communities that lost a lot of manufacturing jobs, specifically in the textile industry. And I think, I think of a lot of people I know who might be interested in that kind of employment again, maybe not full time, but part time, just to bring in some income and again feel
Yeah, that's
like
a great idea.
you're employed. And
There's Loyal Biscuit too.
yes, the
That's
loyal
a
biscuits
main.
there too.
Yeah.
We've worked with them.
I'm wondering, just sort of taking this, story of the people idea, whether, how much of people's individual stories you think they might be comfortable sharing as part of, this is kind of, tying, back to what they used to do. It's an interesting question.
It is interesting. I mean, I've seen it with other products. So, like, you'll buy a scarf, and it will say the scarf was made by Lucinda in blah, 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 and it tells their story. And to me, it makes a personal connection with the product. I don't think it has to be a lot, but it'd be interesting to know that, it's a lobsterman who retired after 20 years of lobstering or something,
That's a great, like a former occupation.
Yeah.
How long they worked in that industry,
Right.
a picture of them, and then like their signature or something.
Right, and if they have a dog, make sure the dog's in the
That would
photo.
be perfect.
Little dog print.
Little dog print at the bottom.
Yeah. There's all this concern about robots taking all of our jobs. And I actually think that, the extension of buy local is to be buying human. And I think actually what we're all talking about is trying to figure out how to connect that so that when you're buying a product, it's got meaning that a human being actually was involved in making it. So you could be a pioneer in that.
Which in the case of the WAG rag, 100% by hand.
In my company, we used to do, when we made our product, we finally counted how many times a human being actually touched the product because we manufactured also in the state. And it was 110 times. And we wrote it out. I mean, it was part of what we wrote out on our website was how many times the product, it was handmade. And all of our products were one of a kind, which made it a little bit more challenging to sort of mass produce. But you've got a good product that's really, really simple.
So were you able to cut that number down at all, or did you keep it right at the 100?
It did get cut down quite a few years into the business. We had technology improvements that eliminated some jobs, but we just kind of moved in that one area. We moved people around to other areas where we could, so as to not lose people that way.
But your products are, in a sense, one of a kind because it's different T-shirts in each of them, right?
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah. So there are regulations, by the way. That's why I asked you
Right.
that question. There are government regulations around employing people, and there's pros and cons to by the hour. You have to get certified to have people work at home, and it's from the knitting industry that the regulations were created. Back in the day, women were at home knitting and getting paid squat. And so regulations were put in place so that they were at least paid minimum wage.
Right.
So there's a whole reporting system, and the employee becomes responsible for reporting how many hours that they spent doing it. So there's a fair amount of knowledge to know about it so that you can do it the best way that serves everybody. And I've always found that when you can serve everybody in the situation where nobody walks away feeling like they've lost something or didn't get as much or whatever, if everybody wins, the employee wins, you win, the vendor wins, then, or your supplier, it's brilliant because what I found was that's the driving thing that keeps it all together and just keeps it moving forward, and people keep loving it. It's all about the love.
Yeah. So do your wag rags have a particular visual look that sets it apart when it's in use, or
No, so normally they're just made. They're made of two colors. I don't know if we have the picture of it or not,
Yeah.
but they're made of 2 colors. There's no rhyme or reason to what we put together for colors. My nanny's very particular about it, like matching and everything.
Yeah.
I think she has like a color tone palette that she like looks to make sure they match. But I mean, as far as one of a kind, they are, because one T-shirt will make one wag rag, but you have to take that one T-shirt, and in theory, it really makes 2 because you're doing 2 colors per wag rag. So one T-shirt equals 1 wag rag.
Yep, I get that.
Is there a tool that goes along with it, or is it all hand?
Just a pair of scissors to cut the T-shirts, but that's it.
Wow.
wonderfully old school?
Wonderfully old
And
school.
simple.
Yeah.
The
Simple.
simplicity, key. Really, really keep it as simple as you can.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious. I was imagining like huge washing machines. Like, how many are you washing? Where are you doing this?
They're just in a regular residential.
Laundromat?
No, right at my grandparents' house. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
one of the stackable washer
Yeah.
and dryers. They got the one with the big drum, but I mean it's not industrial or anything. But I mean, if we ever did,
Does a little at a time.
yeah, exactly. I mean, she's home all day, so she just switches it out and goes through, and I buy her laundry detergent. And but if we ever did get to the size where we really scaled manufacturing, like we're talking, and we had to wash the T-shirts because we wouldn't expect other people to use their washer and dryers in their homes, then something like that, an industrial.
Or you just hire somebody to
Right,
take
like
your
a
laundry to the
laundry
laundromat.
service. Yeah.
Just go to
laundry
exactly, go to the
service.
laundromat. That's a good idea.
Because they probably aren't used like in third shift, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you could have third shift laundromat capacity.
Yeah.
And get that at a bargain price if you can find the people who
That's a great idea.
Who are willing to do that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So what's the price of a wag rag?
We wholesale the small ones for $7.20. They retail for around $14, depending on the retailer.
How's, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask you, how's your competition in the? Because you said you had 60 wholesale stores. So, like, how have you seen consistency in the reorders, or how's that working out? How's
Yeah,
it looking
so-
like it's growing?
So about 80% of our customers reorder, and then about 50% of that 80 reorders on almost a monthly basis. Every month they have an order come in. They've gotten to the point where they've had people come in and specifically ask for wag rags. So the competition, I think consumers are becoming more aware of the type of dog toys that are coming from overseas. So they're becoming more conscious when it comes to buying dog toys, which may be driving a few competitors to introduce some products. You'll see a lot of toys that are braided out of like fleece, but that's where we come in with the eco-friendly, hand knotted, they're braided. I mean, they're knotted, they're not braided, so they won't unravel. And the key is that recycled raw material.
There are lots more unstructured conversations like this on the Greenlight Maine YouTube channel, which you can find on greenlightmaine.com by clicking behind the scenes, or maybe you've already done that. So enjoy the exploration.